Okay, we're back and our chicken stew is done. Now keep in mind, I did have to add more half and half. I added a half of a cup and another third of a cup of flour, mixed those together and then poured it into my stew mix. And I think I had a lot of frozen ice on my vegetables because they weren't thawed out of the way. So my roux didn't set up like I thought it would, but like I told you, it was a beginning and you might have to add more. But look at this. Oh yeah, baby. It smells so good. Oh my gosh, I want to eat it right now. But I can't because the kids aren't here yet. So I'm going to set this aside and that's going to go in the fridge as soon as the pan cools down enough. As you can see, it was in my baking dish. And now we get to part number 2. Because on top of that gorgeous mixture, we're going to put some handmade biscuits. And I'm also going to cook some biscuits for the side, just in case, you know, they want more, which is great, okay? Now, I told you I was cheating. I'm totally cheating on this. And it's not really cheating. It's that we don't bake a whole lot. As I said before, I'm diabetic and Eric doesn't eat a whole lot of carbohydrates either. So I use baking mix. Yep, big fat cheater. But if you have a great biscuit recipe, don't be afraid to use it. I'm just going the simpler route because it's inexpensive and we don't need really keep those items on hand a whole lot. So it's easier to keep a box of baking mix because you can make so many other things with it, like dumplings or pancakes or whatever. Today we're making biscuits, so I'm super cheating. I'm doubling the ingredients though. I'm doubling the batch that's on the side of the box. So I'm going with 4.5 cups of baking mix. I'm going to put into our big bowl here. And then I have a little secret to tell you. Most people don't know this, but did you know you could freeze milk? My mom used to buy it like that when we were kids, but she wouldn't serve it to us in our cereal or in a glass. It was for baking. It was for, you know, pancakes, muffins, biscuits, things like that, where, you know, you really don't want to use the fresh milk. And Eric and I, we're not big milk drinkers. We eat cheese and yogurt for our calcium. We don't really drink a whole lot of milk. So when we buy a jug of milk, typically we don't use the whole thing. So what I do is I do this. I put them in little deli containers like this, label it milk, and then when I need milk, I pull it out and let it thaw. Who'd have thought, right? That's simple. Another money-saving tip to, you know, make your budget go further. And, you know, it doesn't hurt for times like when the power is out and, you know, or your car is broke down. You always have a little bit of milk in the fridge so you can make whatever you need to make. Just a little tip. Anyway, we're gonna go with half milk and half buttermilk, which makes everything creamier and delicious and fattening. But who cares? It's the holidays. The diet can come later. So we're gonna go with 2/3 of a cup of buttermilk and 2/3 of a cup of milk in this mix. There goes my buttermilk. And now, because buttermilk is so thick, you might actually have to add more milk or more buttermilk to this mixture. That's okay. You know, we have more, so it's good. Anyway, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get it mixed up a little bit. And here I am without a utensil again, because that's the way I roll. Spoon. Yep. You can use a fork. You can use a bigger mixing device. I like to use something smaller with biscuits simply because it clumps up on the utensil and then you have to scrape it all off anyway. So yeah, this is going to require a little bit more. It's because the buttermilk is so thick. So the recipe on the box is going to have to be extended out a little bit, and I mean a little bit, because we're going to roll these. You know, roll them out and cut them so that they're nice and beautiful on top of our gorgeous stew that we made. Oh man, I can't wait. I hope the kids hurry up and get here. I'm going to add just a splash more buttermilk. Not a lot, just a little bit, because we don't want this goopy, because we're going to roll it, you know. I'm just doing a drizzle. That's all. And then once we get this incorporated fairly well, oh yeah, that's gonna be about perfect. So you might want to increase that recipe just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to toss in about a cup of sharp cheddar cheese. Oh yeah. And about 3 tablespoons of dried chives. Now, if you don't have dried chives or you can't find them, you can use fresh chives. If you can't find those, thyme or basil will work just as well. I'm going with the chives because I happen to have them. But if you don't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm using a nice handful. See, whoop, there we are. There you go. Yep, I'm using a nice handful of chives. Now, if you use thyme or basil, it's a little stronger. So you're gonna want to cut that back by at least half. And go that way. Okay, and we're gonna roll this in. And this is the part where it's gonna start to get a little bit messy because we're gonna have to get in there with our hands. Yep, it's that time. So I'm gonna clean off my spoon here and start kneading it with my hands. I love cheddar and chive biscuits. They're so good. In an upcoming segment, you know, the turkey carcass and the wings that you didn't use maybe, we're gonna make a homemade soup, like a turkey noodle soup. And I'm gonna show you my grandmother's secret to making the world's best dumplings. Now, you know how you've had dumplings that are like fluffy, and then you've had dumplings that are like balls of flour goop? Yeah, these are like a biscuit inside the soup, and it's, oh my gosh, they are so good. You can't even help yourself. You have to have like 3 or 4. And I like to serve mine with jelly. Yeah, fat lard. Hello. Okay, our dough is ready. It should look like this. It should be a ball, okay? But we have to flour the counter, which is gonna make a disaster of the counter. But the great news is our company's not here yet, so we have plenty of time to clean up and roll these out. All right, so I'm gonna move this bowl that I was mixing in over here and get it out of my way. And then I'm gonna sprinkle my counter with flour. Now I'm gonna try to tilt you down, even though I look like this. I'm gonna try to tilt you down so you can see. Oop, come over here. All right, now the secret to rolling out biscuits is lots of flour. Just go ahead and scatter it on your counter. We're just gonna take a spatula later on and clean it off, all right? Now, start working your dough into the flour a little bit. Now, those of you who have already made biscuits, you don't need this tip. This is for people who haven't made home-rolled biscuits before. And we're gonna get these, you know, to about, I'm gonna say just under an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch, something like that, but I'll show you when I get done. And the great part about rolled biscuits is this, you don't need a cookie cutter. You can actually use a glass, which is what we're gonna use. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna rinse off my hands and grab my cup. I'll be right back. This does get gooey, but that's okay. It's what we want, because they're gonna be absolutely out of this world delicious. Now I'm back and I have my glass. And this is really all you need. If you have a biscuit cutter, wonderful. You can use that. But what you want to do is take some of the flour that's left over, like this, and just roll your glass in it a bit. And then press down. And there you go. A cup biscuit. Keep going. And keep flouring that glass so that your biscuits don't stick inside of it. And that's all it's for. Okay, keep going. Now, because we aren't going to put these right on top immediately, I have another secret to show you for cutting biscuits when you're not going to bake them right away. Okay, that's all I can get out of this batch. But what I've done is I've taken wax paper and I've cut off little sections and then I tore them in half. So they're about this size. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my little biscuit babies on top, put one in between, put one on top, put one in between. You get the idea. That way, when I'm ready to use them, all I have to do is separate them from the wax paper and they're ready to go. That way, I can make my kitchen a disaster like I'm kind of becoming known for. And my biscuits are in good shape and my kitchen is clean when my company gets here, right? Okay. Now, I'm gonna, come back here, little babies. I'm going to continue to roll, and then just before we're going to serve this stew, we're going to put it in the oven and bring it up to temperature, the stew, that is, for about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to bake it at 375 until it has a nice little bubble to it. And then after that, we'll place these biscuits right on top of the stew and bake them for another 10-15 minutes. Now, I'm gonna brush mine with butter. You don't have to. I just like them to be nice and golden brown on the top when I pull them out. So when my biscuits have been in for about 10 minutes, I'm gonna brush them with the butter, put them back in for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then it's dinner time. Make a lovely garden salad, maybe an appetizer, and you're good to go. It was that easy. I know, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this segment. I hope it helped you use up some of those leftovers. And I hope you're having a wonderful time. I know I am. I will see you soon with more tips and advice in the kitchen. Talk to you soon.